What's going on? Ryan, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm glad it's a Friday afternoon. I'm glad to be here with you on Facebook Live.
Awesome, man. I'm so glad to have you, dude. This is pretty freaking awesome, man. It's the first time I've done that, and to be live, I think this is the first time I've done a live video. So hopefully I don't mess up. Hopefully I don't have any boogers on my nose or anything like that. But I think this is going to go well, man. So first of all, I want to welcome everybody that's here and tell them thanks for joining us on a Friday afternoon. My man Ryan here has some awesome information on what we call the 7 tips to improve the performance of your fitness business. So we're just going to dive into that a little bit. He's written a blog post on it in the past. So I took a lot out of it. So I just wanted to, have him come on here on the video and just kind of delve into that a little bit more. So just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Vaughn. I'm the high performance mastermind chairman here at Fitness Revolution. Former CEO, founder of Performance QSA, which is a sports performance and fitness business in Greenville, South Carolina, that I ran for 15 years. And Ryan is the executive director of Fitness Revolution. He's the man. I don't even want to say the man behind the scenes because he's the one out front too. But you guys just really don't realize how much he does behind the scenes, and it's because of him that we're so successful. So, Ryan, anything you want to say, man? Elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. We have a whole team of people to make this thing happen. Vaughn being on the team, Nick Berry as our CEO. We have so many people behind the scenes, but I'm excited to be here. I've done several of these lives, Facebook Live videos myself, like from my phone. When Vaughn found this, where we could do it together, this is amazing. Plus, I like doing it from my webcam and not my phone, and having to figure out which way to hold it and all that stuff. So, I love sharing information. I love helping business owners. Like that's what I love to do. So I'm excited to share this stuff. Hopefully, we can go in depth on some things. We can answer some quick questions from people. If you're watching, no matter what point, throw in your questions. Let us know what they are. I'm happy to answer them as we go through. You write the blog post, you put all this content out there, but I don't get to interact with people. This is a chance to interact. So I'm super excited about it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, man. I like the opportunity to answer some questions at the end and just take this to the next level. So those of you that are here, and maybe some of you are just jumping on and joining us, but today we're talking about the 7 tips to increase the performance of your fitness business. So there's, like I said, 7 tips, but we're going to take each one of those tips and elaborate on it just a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the ball started if you're ready, man.
Let's do it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So in this article, you broke it down into 7 pieces. And the first one really speaks a lot to me, especially over the last 5 years. But the first one you talk about, take great care of yourself. And I like how you put that first. So in this little blurb, you kind of use what I've heard previously called, and some people still call it, the 5 F's. So you're talking about faith, family, fitness, finance, and friends. So I want you to elaborate on that a little bit. We can start at the top of faith.
I don't know who started like the whole 5S thing, but I heard it from a client of mine a long time ago when I first started, and it's when I was really wanting to feel like I needed a breakthrough, right? And I didn't know anything about business at the time. I was just starting out, and her husband was really successful. And she said, this is what my husband does every year. Goes through these things, lays it out. Like she laid out the whole plan for me, and so I did it. And next thing you know, the next year I reviewed it and I hit every one of those goals. But by breaking it up into these areas, it's like the 5 key areas. And I think it's important to start with yourself when we talk about improving performance, because fitness people in particular, they want to help. So they'll put their clients' needs, their business needs, their employees' needs above themselves. They burn themselves out, and then if you're not good, like if you're not recharged, you can't help anyone, right? So if you don't take care of yourself first, and part of that goes into like paying yourself first, right? If you pay yourself first, now you have some motivation to figure out the rest, to keep driving, to keep increasing your revenues. So if you don't take care of yourself, then I don't know how you're going to take care of anybody else. You can't be at your absolute best. So that's why I put it first.
Yeah, I love that,
You
man.
want to start with, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I say I love that because I actually tell that to my clients or prospects all the time, And as we get older and we have kids, we get married and, have significant others, we want to put everybody else first, right? Our clients and our staff included. But what happens is we put ourselves to the back, put ourselves on the side burner. And next thing you know, the stress starts to add up. We start putting on a few pounds, maybe, start eating bad. And next thing you know, we start to kind of degrade a little bit as far as, not feeling good. And, just the stress adds up. So I love how you put that first because I think that's a key point.
Yeah, in the blog, I put an article. I linked to a precision nutrition article about the pause button mentality. It's like you just can't go, full throttle all the time in everything. But when I look at my year, when I look at what I want to accomplish at all times, like the 5Fs, faith, family, fitness, friend, finance, and friends, yes, like I put faith first there. That's important to me. You call it faith, you call it spirituality, you call it whatever you want in terms of that. But I think you have to have something to center yourself around, right? You've got to have something that's bigger than you. That might just be meditation for you. It doesn't have to necessarily be religion with the faith. For some of us it is, for others it isn't. For me it is. I know when I have a little bit of faith centered around me and I've got to focus on what I want to accomplish there, that kind of allows me to do everything else a little bit better. So I always start with that one. So what are your goals for faith? What do you want to accomplish? What do you think you could be better at? And if you're happy with where you're at, then cool. Like, you don't have to always set a goal to make progress. I just need to maintain it. I mean, for me, I keep my faith stuff pretty simple. Faith, one part of it's gratitude for me. I am intrinsically, instinctively kind of always like look at things from the I didn't do good enough or I could always do better mentality. So I have to focus on a gratitude of what's going on. So, I'm thanking, God in my case for the things that I have, the good things, but it also puts me in a positive mindset. I'll start looking at the opportunities now. So it's past just the religion at that point, the benefits, but that's where I start. I try to do my best, get to mass every Sunday. Like it's important that I take my son to mass with me and we do those things. So I just have some basic process goals for this one. And it's like, that's what keeps me connected to everything else. So that's why I listed that first in the article. And I think it's really important to touch on first because it's one of the easiest to push off to the side for a lot of people because it's just not, they don't understand it very well.
I love that, man. It kind of tied into that. I start my day every morning, getting some type of exercise, but most importantly, in my daily devotional. And it's that positivity, that positive mindset that starts out my day, like you mentioned. So, yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know a ton of successful people that they center themselves around it somehow. So whether it's a meditation practice or yoga or something like that, where like they're just connecting with something else. It's that kind of mindfulness out there. So I think it's really, really huge. And you're missing out if you're not incorporating something of that nature to center yourself, nearly every day, if not more, at least a couple times a month or whatever you need to do to make it work.
Definitely. Well, the next one you talked about was family. We touched a little bit about on fitness. You talk about your son and taking your son to mass and how that's important to you. And tell me a little bit about family.
Families, that's been a really weird one for me over time. Like, I moved away when I was 18 years old from my family. So I was never really that close with them. Like, I had to get out of where I was at. It was in a bad situation. There was something more. Like, I needed to go find something more. So with that, I always had a hard time when I was younger with family stuff. But then it became really apparent to me when I got married. Oh man, I got a background noise video playing. That was everybody got something. That was an ETM module that just got recorded. It just started playing. So anyway, with family, the more I grew my own family, the more I was able to connect it back with my family. So my mom and my dad, But with that one, that's an easy one to push off because you always think it's going to be there. Right? You always think that they're going to be there. And with my son, for instance, like we had a really hard time having him. So for that, that's special to me. Like he's probably the only one we'll have. He is a blessing that we had him. Like it was a lot of trials and tribulations. So for me, it's like, I only get to go through these stages, and everybody gets this with their kids. I mean, even if you have 4 or 5, you only get to do that stage with your kid once, right? You don't get to read it.
Oh yeah.
So time's gonna move on, and so I've got it dedicated that I'm gonna end work at a certain time. Like I have my goals for that. How much time I'm gonna spend with him. We do bath time every night. That's dad's time. So right now he goes to bed really early. So the window from ending work to getting him to bed is really short. But I make sure like I'm lucky that I'm at home when he wakes up, so I get to hang out with him for a little bit when he wakes up, and I do bath time with him. But my wife and I, we also have some routines because you got to protect that relationship too. So whether it's scheduling your date nights or time when you're going to talk, or you get that time for yourself out there. And then, you extend your family as far as you want to go. What do you do with your parents? So, I mean, I have my goals and they're sitting right in front of me, written out for the year. And right up on here, there's a vacation, which is kind of like the fun piece of this whole thing. But I mean, one dedicated date night per month. That doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have a newborn and we're trying to figure all this out, that's like, we just get one a month. I know I can hit that. Anything is extra. So I mean, I've got my family stuff on here, so I try to live that. But I also have goals to, call my mom and do FaceTime or video chat with my mom and Vincent, who's my son, once a week. We try to do those things. It's just important to have those people around you and build that family up. And I know for younger traders or younger business owners that probably isn't top of mind right now. But trust me when I say you'll appreciate it as you get a little bit older. If you don't right now, you'll appreciate a lot of those things.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And family first, man. We can't forget that. I have a 5-year-old son, an 8-year-old daughter. Wonderfully married for over 11 years, man. And the biggest thing I learned is you have to be intentional about it. Like you said, you have a plan, one date night a month, for me, I'm trying to do that once a week, and I say date night, it could be a date lunch, right? So if you're not intentional about it, you can easily forget about it and put it to the side. So, family first, man. I always remember that. So the next one, we talk about this, and I talk about what I do in the mornings. I do 3 mornings a week of actual workouts, and then another 2 mornings of just getting up and walking or running or whatnot. But I know you get up early in the morning too before work and work out. So tell me a little bit about your fitness.
Absolutely, it's always been important to me, and I can directly relate my fitness routine to my performance in business, or whether it's maybe just productivity. More so, like when I'm on with that, I'm on with productivity. It's just something about the way I'm wired. I like to do something active as much as I can. So yeah, I used to work out in the middle of the day. I found that there were too many distractions that led me away from it. Used to be a great break, right? I'd work from 5:30 until 11, work out from 11 to 12:30, go back to it. My days and things have shifted, so I wake up at 5 to 5:15 now. I still hit the snooze button some days. I know that's not good, but 5 to 5:15, I'm up. I pour myself coffee. I'll read a little bit, get a little caffeine in me, and then I head to the gym to work out. Then I'm back, and then I can start my day. So I try to do something every day. It doesn't always work. I try to be flexible with it. And again, that's you gotta know when to balance this stuff. But if I can get 4 workouts in a week, and then yesterday I didn't do a strength workout. I walked, and I just wasn't feeling that great. So I walked on the treadmill in the gym at an incline for 30 minutes, came home. I felt better that I did something. So it's always, putting a plan in place for that. And trainers, fitness professionals, we don't always have to tell them to do this stuff, but You see a lot of business owners, they take that and like the last thing, and one of the other first things that goes is, I'll spend time with my family. I won't do that. Then I'm not even going to work out for myself. And all of a sudden you lose touch with some of the stuff that you build your identity around. For better or worse, like fitness is something that you probably like as a fitness professional. And then you start feeling bad about yourself for not doing it. So, and unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not blessed with I don't fall out of bed looking good. I'm naturally a fat guy. So, good for the people that can have good genetics and they don't have to train hard, or I have to train every day. I've got to stick to it or I get really fat. So then I just get down on myself. So fitness has got to be up there in the plans, right? Like setting some sort of goal to move towards, even if it's not weight loss, if it's just, strength or competing in a race or something. To have those goals is great.
Yeah. I mean, we need performance-based goals in our fitness just like we need in business, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, the next one was finance, man. And you touched base on this a little bit at the beginning. As part, the first one, you usually have three rules that people need to do as far as finance. And the first one you put up there is pay yourself first, always. Elaborate on that.
Yeah. So, Richest Man in Babylon, it's a book. There's a link to it in the post, and we can link to it through these notes or whatnot. But, the biggest lesson from that is pay yourself first. And what typically happens is business owners, professionals, they'll pay their bills first, right? Like pay everything else, and then they pay themselves with what's left over. A lot of times there's not anything left over, so they don't pay themselves anything. Always pay yourself first. Set aside what you're going to make. And it could be just a basic salary, but pay yourself first in your business. And there's twofold to pay yourself first. Pay yourself first in your business, and then you make everything else work around, right? And you could just pay yourself a minimal amount and just enough to get by, and then have bonuses to get to other levels if you want to do that at different tiers. But you've got to pay yourself first so that you're not just hoping at the end of the day that you didn't spend more than you needed to. Then you also should save a little bit first. So, for us, I have an amount of money that goes into an investment account. I have an amount of money that goes into a savings account before it ever hits my checking account in the direct deposit. They just go. It's automatically set up. And it's set up to be, I think at the end, it's a little over 10% of what I make. So with that, it just goes there, so I don't have to think about it. But I'm paying myself first there so that it's savings, so that it's investments for later. That all goes to a different place, and then I spend whatever's left over on the bills and all that. I don't hope that I'm going to save money later on, right? I don't hope that I'm going to invest in my retirement or put anything away for opportunities later. I don't even think that much about the retirement thing. I'll probably do something forever. It's just the way I'm wired. But if I want to take advantage of an opportunity, buy into a company, if you want to take a risk with something, I've got that money in an investment account that I can take. It just goes there. So that's kind of the twofold, to pay yourself first, but I think you always have to do that.
Definitely. So you have a couple on here. Don't spend more than you can make, and don't borrow what you can't pay back. I mean, it sounds like easy advice, right? But we see it all the time. People just kind of, they get shiny objects and they want to just go, I want it now, right?
It's just easy. Don't spend more than you make. It sounds a lot easier than it is. And I still have a hard time with this. And that's why you have savings accounts, and that's why you have all that stuff. But you can't constantly be dipping into the well. Eventually the well dries up. It's the reason I see so many people get behind, or they can't make things work. It's all about cash flow management, really. It's a business. If you took a business, cash flow management. I've got cash, I'm good. If I don't have cash, I'm hoping that I can pay the bills as I go through. So you have to budget yourself a little bit. And I'm horrible with budgets. I've read the Dave Ramsey stuff. I've read everything. That's why I linked to The Automatic Millionaire by David Vaughn in there, because it's just simple. It's the pay yourself first methodology. Then there's simple ways for paying down debt, but I just have a hard time with I'm not going to set a really strict budget for myself personally. We know what we can make. We just don't do. We just don't spend more than that. We started cutting expenses if we need to cut expenses. And at a certain point, like you just got to go find ways to make more. I understand that. Like that's where cutting, like the whole, like, I won't go to Starbucks. I'm going to save the $2 a day and I'll be a millionaire. That doesn't always work for everyone. Like that wouldn't work for me. It's just not a big enough return. Yeah. But you just have to be conscious of it. And there's apps and tools and all the fun stuff out there for it. And then the don't borrow what you can't pay back. That's a tough one. Sometimes you have to borrow money. I get it. At some point, I had to borrow a lot of money to get my first gym started. Starting my first business, I ran it off credit cards, the whole thing. But as I progressed through that, like maybe it was my wife, because she's like, I won't marry you if you have a lot of debt. And I didn't have anybody there. I did this right out of school. Other than my scholarship for school, I paid for all my living and all that myself. So I had to learn kind of the hard way that I would pay that back. And then once you get into where you don't have it, you don't want any more debt. So we just don't borrow money that we don't think we can pay back because it's going to stretch us. So both our cars are paid off. Like we don't have the fanciest cars. Like they're fine. They get around where they're at. But you know, I got a bigger check for something, and so I paid off my car. Like, it was one of the first things, just a needless expense to have to pay off. So, you know, we live in a house well within our means. So it's just that stuff where it's easy to get caught up into the shiny objects, and I'm going to go after that and like have to live up to certain things. And for me, that's really dangerous because I'm very competitive. So like,
oh yeah, I
associate a lot of the like things that you have with success. And so I have to fight myself on this a lot. It's just over time, I've realized the stress of not having those things and not having the stress that comes with having to pay for them is way less than ever having to deal with, well, somebody else has something better, but you really don't know their situation. I know a lot of outside looking wealthy people that really don't have very much money at all. And so that's devastating for a lot of people. Like you don't have to have the brand new, Benz. It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, we have a very similar background, very similar story. And it's one of those things that when you're young, it's hard to tell you that materialistic things don't necessarily signify success, right? So when you're young, and I made a mistake 10 years ago buying a car, an SUV, and it was $50,000. And I was like, man, I hate this car payment. You know what I mean? But it's paid off, and all our cars are paid off. Like I said, it's one of those things that when I started my business, it took on a significant amount of debt. But now that those things are gone, you're like, man, I don't want that type of stress anymore. Because once you have to live with it for a while, it adds an unnecessary stress that you really don't need, and you could be taking that time and that bandwidth focusing on other things. So I get you, man. I get you.
And the opportunities that it presents when you get rid of that stuff and when you do this is great. So my wife, when we had our son, she got a juice to stay at home. She didn't have to work. And it's not because like I rake it in. Like that's not the reason, because a lot of people make a lot of money and they still couldn't afford to do that because their lifestyle. But we knew, like, we afforded ourselves, like, okay, well, if we do without her income, are we still going to be okay? And we are, and like that gives me drive to take care of them. But like, she has that opportunity to stay home with our son and just be a mom, and that's what she wanted to do. If you stretch yourself right to your limits, then those opportunities don't always get to be taken advantage of, whether they're business risks or personal risks like that. So you never think of that stuff when you're younger. Yeah, like just driving around with a $50,000 SUV sounds pretty cool. When you get rid of those payments, and all of a sudden you're like, I don't want another payment.
Hey man, whether the opportunities there or not, man, my wife would lose her mind if she had to stay home and take care of the kids. All right, so the final piece of the puzzle that you have here, and take great care of yourself, is in the 5 F's is friends. So what about friends makes it an important piece of taking care of yourself?
I don't know. I'm still working on this. I don't have very many. So I don't think it's the quantity, right? It's the quality.
Exactly.
So you need people around you. So most of the friends that I have and have had over time, they've been more successful. Like I've always just been kind of drawn to an older crowd. When I was a young trainer, I was always drawn to my older clients that were successful and always developed really good relationships with them. I had a hard time connecting with like the younger people that I was around, and I still do to this day. But I think you have to have those relationships outside of family that are there, and even business to just like you have to have fun, right? You want to be able to do those things. So um, setting plans, like doing activities with your friends, setting time up to go meet new people. This is one of those things where you just kind of explore. Like it's not about I need to go to have 100 friends, but maybe it's I have a best friend who lives close to where we just moved now. And we were just texting earlier today. I think we're going to take our kids to the zoo this weekend. Stuff like that, like reconnecting. Like, hey, once a month we're going to do this, or it's important for guys to get out and like have a guys' day, or girls get out and have their girls' day, or hang out. Like if you hang out with the opposite gender and you do whatever, like it's important to get out and do that, or have friends as couples you go spend time with. Setting the benchmark to do those things socially, and that's really what it's more about. It's about the social aspect of it. To get out there and socialize with people, it adds a balance, right? You can't turn down opportunities to do business things or catch up on work and turn down stuff with friends all of the time. Like you have to make time for that, like, cutting back and fun. And that's what I've heard it also as is outside of friends. It's like it's fun is what you could label that as. But this kind of ties to the relationship side of things. So, the fun is take your vacations, go on trips, set aside time for yourself to chase a hobby, do those things.
Yeah, and I go back to what you said about it's quality over quantity as well. As we get older, but as entrepreneurs, we're going all the time. And not like when I was young, it was like every weekend you're out doing something and you had a big group of people that you hung out with. But now my focus and my priority is on my family. But you also need that 1, 2, 3 people that you're got a really close relationship with that you can go to and talk to them about different things that you wouldn't talk to other so-called friends. So I'm real big on quality over quantity. I have like one really close friend that I know I can talk to about anything. But for me, that's enough. I got some other close friends, but not as close as this guy. So yeah, definitely. I think you need that outlet where you can get away. Not saying you have to get away from your wife all the time, but somebody else that you can talk to.
I think you do, and it's not all the time, but like you've got to have that stuff outside, like your own interests as well. And there are some couples that do really well just with themselves together all the time. And my wife's like my best friend, like, but yeah, you do have to have those things, like get away from each other for a little bit and do your own things, and it allows you to escape. And like, if you got to blow off steam, it allows you to do that. There's so many benefits to it.
Yeah.
But number one, like have fun, set stuff up so you can have fun, do the things you love doing.
Good. All right. So let's move on here to tip number 2 that you had was create a dashboard. Now, with the create a dashboard, there's an analogy that you use that I really like, right? So you said the Chevy Malibu versus the fighter jet. In a Chevy Malibu, you can go get out the house or leave work, jump in the car, make your way home or wherever you're going, and not really have to look down at the dashboard too much because you have an idea of what pace you're traveling and you know where your turn signals are and things such as that. But in a fighter jet, you can't just jump in a fighter jet and get going, right? So, and there's a lot of other things to look at and monitor to make sure that you're moving along at the pace that you needed to reach your goal. So elaborate on that a little bit.
And I think you're dead on there. I mean, if I'm just getting in my car and driving, and I'm not, no offense to people who drive a Chevy Malibu. I get in any car that's not like a sports car, like performance-based car. If I just get in an everyday car and go drive down the street, I can probably figure things out. Like the chances I'm going to run out of gas, blow my engine, any of those things are slim to none. You get in a car and you start going fast, or you start trying to do performance stuff, and like the fighter jet was like the absolute opposite end, right? Like, you're going crazy fast, and all this stuff's moving around you really fast, and you have a lot of things in your going on that you don't know about. Like you can't just get a handle on, and if they go bad, it's going to go bad really fast. So with that, and like a fighter jet, it's easy to get disoriented, like not know where you're at. And you hear people in planes all the time. They do that, and they can't orient themselves. They crash, and they don't even know like they're headed to the ground. You see businesses do the exact same thing. Like if you're just going to float along and just kind of do things, cool. You don't need to track anything. But if you're going to have a high performing business, if you want to be really successful, I think you have to create a dashboard. You've got to know, you got to have something that gives you feedback on what happened, how well you're doing, and if you're on pace to hit your goals. And it gives you so much feedback, and that's really what a dashboard does, right? You're going to have leading indicators, so things that tell you this is about where I'm going to go. So might be the GPS in my car, gives me my estimated time of arrival, right? It might tell me, am I on pace to hit my revenue goals or not? Or it's going to give me feedback like, this is how fast I'm going right now. Or this is your gas mileage right now. And that's kind of the lagging indicator that says, hey, this is where you're on pace. So if I need to get somewhere faster based off my GPS, I just need to crank up the speed, right? I just need to go. Same thing with business. You've got to keep track of the things that matter. And it's not a lot of stuff. That's the thing is, it doesn't sound the most fun or like sexiest thing in the world. It's like go market. That seems sexier. Like go get new clients. You just got to track. We tell people to track 8 numbers within their business, but those 8 numbers will tell you how well you're doing and if there is a problem or if you're on pace to hit your goals. You have to have a dashboard.
I love that. I love that. This is, like you said, it's not the funnest stuff, but it's the necessary stuff, right? To be a high performing business. Awesome, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and it's fun. Like when you see the benefits, at first when you don't know what you're doing or what you're looking for, it's tough. But when you start to understand, when you review it enough, things will start to pop out, trends, performance metrics. Like you'll start to see things if you spend time looking at it. That's when it becomes fun because now you can say, I know I'm on pace, right? Like I know we're going to hit this number. But if you don't, you're guessing, and that's no way to run a business. So
I agree, man. 100%. I agree. Well, the next one you talked about, the next point, the next tip was improve your marketing. So, when you say improve your marketing, what are the things that fitness business owners either they're doing wrong or they're simply not doing at all?
oh man, this is challenging. So because there's things that they do well. I think that fitness business owners really want to help people, so they want to grow, and they're trying to market. Like a lot of them, they're trying. It's not producing the results that they want. That's what I've seen lately, and that's what I'm hearing from the industry. Like they're hustling, they're doing these things, they're doing the things that people told them to do, but it's not producing the same result. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, it's getting tougher and tougher in the industry. Right? So people are popping up with new studios, new boot camps, new things all the time. Then you look at online streaming opportunities. Like there's just a lot of ways people can get their fitness to get to the end result, right? And they don't have to come to you. So that's one big challenge. The second is the consumers are more educated. So like they're not going to get duped anymore into something easy. Like they've seen all the marketing. They've been exposed to it. They understand more about fitness, so they're a little further along than what they've been, which means you have to be a more savvy marketer. Not savvy to trick them, but savvy in the fact that you've got to provide the value with where they're at. Right? You've got to educate them to continue to prove what you're doing. So the big mistakes that I see being made is like all that hustle, all those activities aren't being directed in the right way. Right? They're just kind of random. It'd be the equivalent of having your clients show up, say, I want to hit this goal, but not creating a program or any sort of pathway for them to get there. And just saying, all right, go do these exercises. And just randomly going around the gym doing exercises, hoping that they get to the goal. You might get there. You might get lucky and everything works out to get there. Most likely, though, that's not going to be the case. If I go over and do like one set of squats and do, 2 reps at 50% of my 1 rep max, and then I go over and do a max effort set of bench press and do all these other things. Like I just don't know what goal I'm chasing. That's the equivalent of what I see from most fitness marketing plans that are out there.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So they definitely need to have a game plan. All right. And so like those 3 steps that you said, like their game plan, they got to outline that marketing strategy that they want to, that they want to achieve. They got to create their marketing plan, and they got to follow the marketing calendar. Right. And we see it a lot, we provide people with marketing calendars, but if they don't go out and implement it, man, they're not going to get anything. Right.
And if the wrong stuff's on there, right? If it's not all moving if there's not everything has a purpose. That's the thing that I found resonates the most is purposeful marketing, right? Everything needs to have a purpose. You're not just doing activities to do them. So you figure out, where are my strengths? What can I do? We teach a really easy strategy. You need to have 3 channels of marketing. You need to have an online, an offline, and an internal. So, social media could be online, Facebook ads, any of that. And offline, joint ventures, strategic relationships, numerous things, and internal, some type of referral program, right? So I need to have 3 things. If you're just starting out or you're having trouble, stick to what you're really good at. So don't try to do something because somebody says you can do it. If you're an introvert and you hate networking, don't network. You're never going to do it because it's going to be too hard for you to get started and see the results. So find something that you can do and leverage the other strengths that you have that don't rely on you to go to a BNI group and being 100 in front of 100 people trying to figure out how to get business from that, right? Go find a way to get yourself in a one-on-one scenario, or do something that you like. If you hate writing, you don't have to write. If you love video, you can do video. So you find your strengths, you pick these 3 channels, and then your goal is to take those 3 things that you're going to do, like the channels. You're going to take the 3 activities from those channels, the 3 channel methods, and you're going to put them in your calendar. So I'm going to have daily, weekly, monthly tasks that I'm supposed to do. They're all going to align with that, right? And that's the strategy. That's how it comes together. So you take that, your strengths, what are my activities I'm going to do? You plug them in the calendar, you just follow it. All the time, what you're trying to do with that marketing, like the purposeful marketing now is, I need to get that audience that's paying attention to my marketing. One, you have to get it in front of them first, but when they pay attention to it, the purpose of marketing is to get them to take the next step, right? To get them to make the next commitment, whether that's, read the next blog post, to click on a link, if it's to call you to schedule a success session, or if it's to sign up for your front end offer. Like, there's a step that has to be taken from your marketing. You need to ask them to take that step. And hopefully that step, it takes them one step closer to getting in a front end offer or signing up to become a client. When you take those 3 channels, and if all you have is like just 3, that's the bare minimum, and everything moves people towards a front end offer, like that'll clear up your marketing plan like crazy. Like, it makes it really clear and simple. Now all of a sudden you have a purpose for everything I'm doing. I'm not just randomly like, I'm going to do social media, so I make random posts. Nah, your social media has to have a strategy, right? If you're going to post, what's the purpose of posting? And don't confuse that. If people are watching, I don't want to confuse that with like having to sell hard all the time or always sell the stuff, right? It could be something very small, but you've got to ask them to make that next step.
Yeah, you got to get them in the funnel and move them through the funnel, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. Like, it can be value-based, it can be education-based. Like, you're not trying to sell somebody all the time, but you need them to get to make the next step. It's like, you got to eat too, right? So your business has to run. So the way you do that is by training people and providing value to them that way. So you can provide them a ton of value, but at the end of the day, you've got to get clients. So don't be afraid to market yourself, because that's what you have to do to survive. But you can add a ton of value to people's lives. I mean, we're doing this, we're not doing this, so like, we're doing it because we love it, because we think we're good at, and like, this is a strength of ours, right? We can talk, we can go through this stuff. We talked about this before, and we're totally transparent to that far. So like, we're cool to know, like, this is a marketing game plan for us. We want to educate you, we'll provide you a ton of value, a ton of knowledge, and at the end, like, we'll tell you how to take the next steps. On the blog post, if you read it, I've got links to like, what are your next steps in there to help you move through figuring out how do you improve your business. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, because there's a ton of value, a ton of knowledge and information being shared here that's going to help you.
Awesome, man. Well, once people get their marketing kind of dialed in and they got their marketing plan, the next step is to show up the sales process, right?
Yep.
So you mentioned that one of those channels being an internal marketing, referral strategy, right?
Yeah.
One of the things people got to realize is there is a difference between a prospect that was referred to you and then somebody that's coming off of like a Facebook ad or a Twitter ad or something like that. Man, talk about how to, shore up the sales process and going from a referred prospect. It's probably going to be a somewhat easy sell because they already kind of preconditioned. They already know, they have an idea of what the program's like. Their friends are already in there. They probably talked to them about what price is. You're just kind of nudging them over to make that first step and sign up, right? But what's the difference between that type of person and the person that's coming in from a Facebook ad, that's never heard of you before?
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest difference is they're pre-qualified and pre-motivated and nearly pre-sold. So a referral that you get, somebody sent you to them. All right. The other gimme, I call them gimmies, right? Like they're landing on your plate in front of you, ready to buy. The other gimmies are people that just find you online and they reach out to you and say, hey, how do I sign up? What do I do? I'm really interested in this. All right. Those people, they've already done the education. They've done the research. They've done all that stuff. When you start using things like Facebook ads, Twitter ads, social media where you're reaching more people, you do email marketing, you're building email lists. When you get better at marketing, you reach a bigger audience. That audience isn't all ready to buy today. So you've got to continue to market to them. You've got to continue to shore up your sales process so that you can take advantage of it when they are ready to buy. Not take advantage of them, but advantage of the opportunity when they're ready to buy. So you've got to clean up your sales process, right? This is something like most trainers will say if they're getting under 10 leads a month, they'll be like, my closing rate is like 90%, right? They close everybody. The second that we help them with their marketing and it goes up. And we see this, lead engine marketing has made this a huge, huge, obvious pain point for people because CJ, who runs lead engine marketing, runs Facebook ads for people, brings in tons of leads, right? Like they're hitting a button, getting like 4, 5, 10 times in some cases the leads they were getting before. All of a sudden, they're upset because they're not converting all of those leads like they were at the same conversion rate. Well, it's because they aren't all referrals or people reaching out to them. And so you've got to work those people through the stages. You've got to nurture those people. So, when they become a leader, they apply, you're going to have to qualify them. You're going to have to do discovery calls with them where you learn about it. You're going to have to get them into a success session. And there are pieces that have to happen to move them through those stages. Then when you get them in front of you, you've got to really dig. You've got to really go through the sales process with them. You've got to be able to understand their pain, know what they want to get to. Like I call it the before and after. It happens. It's one of the most important parts in a sales meeting. It's when you get them to paint the picture, like emotionally, what they feel like, what they look like. They're painting this before picture for you and then after. Your goal is to show them how you're going to get them there, right? That's the value building. If you get really good at those two things, like you don't have to use sneaky closing techniques or all these different closing methods. You do that, all you have to do is present it really clearly, give them 2 options, and most people will be ready to sign up. And so, I mean, it goes a lot deeper into this with the sales, but if you just got good at those things, like identifying the right prospects, moving people through those stages that I talked about, and then once you're in front of them, getting really good at understanding them, finding out what they want, the before and after, that'll help out tremendously. Because if you're getting all these leads, like you don't want to lose them, right? You need to make the most out of the opportunity that they present.
Definitely, man. And I'm loving this stuff, man. I'm taking some awesome notes. I've heard you talk about it before, man, but I always walk away with at least 1 or 2 good nuggets, man, that I can use when I'm coaching other fitness professionals. So
we could do like a whole 2-hour episode on this because we're getting ready to do our sales curriculum for our academy.
Yep.
And so I have 38 pages of an outline for that curriculum. So like people don't understand. They've just been taught the basic sales stuff in fitness. It's like, what do you do when somebody's sitting in front of you? They haven't even looked at like sales as it relates to the rest of the business world. And so we're going to crack it open and be the first to deliver it. But I'm sure we'll do a lot of Facebook Live on that. But there's so much more to it than this. So I mean, I could go and keep drilling into this stuff.
Awesome, man. Well, let's move on. We're running out of time a little bit. So the next thing, man, I think is big is we see this happen all the time, man. Is or we see people not doing it, and that one thing is focusing on what you do best, focusing on your one thing. So take that to another level. Like, what is that one thing?
And one thing is your core offer. And so your core offer is basically it's the thing that you're best at delivering, right? So it's the service you're best at delivering. So we have a process for drilling people down into figuring out what this is. It probably already exists in your business if you're running it. You just have to figure it out. It's like, what do you want to be known for? And it can't be like, it's not fat loss training. We look at it in certain layers. Like there's categories. So there's like large group training, small group training, semi-private, personal training. Right? Then you niche it down. So you're going to deliver your service in one of those four categories. Then you're going to niche it down to like sports performance, fitness, fat loss, hypertrophy, things like that. And you'll continue to layer it down to like the specific result that they want. Your core offer is really like, what are you delivering to your service? But it has to be economically feasible. It has to be something that you can sustain, that you can scale, that you can really grow. So, that might be one-on-one training. It might be large group. That's where we have to evaluate it as we get down into those layers and the niches. Like if my niche is, professional MMA fighters in a boot camp setting, that probably ain't gonna work. Like I don't know if you can make that work. Right? There are people that are doing it. I'm sure of it. But that's a great example. So when MMA got popular, like everybody wanted to train fighters, right? But the problem is like there wasn't a market to serve that was big enough to make your business off of it. And so I really want to encourage people, focus on the one thing. What's the one thing you want to be known for? If you can deliver one thing better than anybody else in your area, it doesn't have to be the best in the world. Like if it is, awesome. But if it's the best in your area, that's amazing. Be known for that, focus on that, and then drive all your marketing. Everything is geared towards growing that. Once you've got the systems and the structure in place, we can talk about adding other stuff. But you don't have to make money by like spreading yourself thin and having 27 different offerings. That just makes things worse.
So what you're telling me is trying to be everything to everybody is basically setting yourself up for failure, right?
Exactly. And I think it's what happens when people are insecure with kind of what they're offering or mostly with their marketing. Like they don't know how to market their program. I said, I'll offer a lot of stuff and hopefully people will pick what they want. And that's very natural to do in the fitness industry because we think we're doing it we think we're really helping a lot more people. But for your business, you want to focus on that one thing, right? And you can look at a lot of the examples out there of the people that you know that are the gyms that you know about. They all kind of got known for their one thing. It's like Boyle is not known for the fat loss training. Like the guy is known for training athletes. And they have a very structured system. It's like group training for athletes, right? Mike Robertson is a semi-private training guy. Like that's what he did, and he focused on. And you got Rachel and Alan with Results Fitness, and they kind of started semi-private training, and that's what they were built around. They all got there by focusing on one thing, not offering 47 different offerings and trying to appeal to everyone. So, if those people are doing it and that's how they built their foundation, it's like success leaves clues, pick up the clues.
Exactly. And I can speak from experience from the very early days of me starting, man. The more more moving parts, the more pieces of the puzzle, the more complicated things get. So when you simplify and narrow that focus, man, things get a lot easier, and it takes a lot, I won't say it takes away, but it adds more bandwidth that you can focus on the priorities and focus on what you do best.
Yep. And I mean, just think how much energy it saves. So what do you do? We do semi-private training, and I'm using that as an example. I don't think that's a great marketing term, but you don't have to worry about somebody looking for group fitness or boot camps or anything like that. You do semi-private training for this type of person. It makes marketing easy because I know what I'm marketing, right? But it also makes it really easy to communicate that to people and attract that to people. So,
and if you're running 3 different core offers per se, you got to have 3 different marketing plans or, calendars or strategies, right?
Yeah, ideally you should. And what most people do is they have one scattered marketing plan and they kind of hope they'll figure out what program to put people in.
Yeah.
And that makes it really hard on the client too,
Mhm.
because they don't know what to choose. Like they're looking at you as the expert, so it's really really challenging.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So let's move on to the next tip, and the next one I have is never stop learning. And there's no surprise that this is on here, man, because here at FR, our first core value is relentless pursuit, of excellence and knowledge, right?
Mhm.
So, and we're always looking to grow. So, relentless pursuit of growth and knowledge, and I think that's the main reason why we're here. Right,
Mhm.
we're here because we want to help others be better. But in order for us to help others be better, we got to get better. And so we constantly are looking at ways that we can improve what we do, improve our skill level. And we know if we can constantly improve what we do on our skill level, that allows us to be a better coach. For me, that goes beyond just business in life. It allows me to be a better husband. When we go back to, like devotionals and the faith part of, taking care of yourself. So, never stop learning. And I always heard the analogy or the quote, when you stop learning, you start dying, right? You stop growing, you die. So elaborate on that, man.
Yeah, there's kind of this interesting trend now where people are saying like you don't need to learn more, you just need to get better at what you're doing. So people are recommending like just pick 2 or 3 books and reread those. I think that's fine too. When I say learning, it really is grow, right? You're trying to grow and expand as a human, as a business person, as a husband, as a person. That's what you want to do. So I absolutely think you shouldn't stop growing. If you look at the average person, like the average American, they're not reading, they're not learning, like they're watching the news. That's all they're doing. They're hung up on all that stuff. Um, the highest performers, the most successful people, they're always trying to get better. They're being around other people. They're attending events. They're learning, whether it's webinars, online, books, listening to books, whatever. So there's a billion different ways that you can learn, that you can get better. The top 3 is, I think, for high performers that I see, they're listening or reading books, right? Because not everybody can read fast. Like, I have a hard time reading really fast, so I'll do an audio book, and I can listen to an audio book on 2 times speed and like blow through it. But also there are some books, I'm obviously behind me here, as I have a whole wall that's built into my office as a bookshelf. So I like to read and have something physical for a lot of stuff because I'll make notes. So reading or listening to books, like there's more stuff out there than you could possibly imagine. If there's a topic, there's something on it. They find mentors or coaches. So they're out there seeking someone to help them accelerate their results. So the thing with high performers is they understand they don't always know what questions to ask. I don't remember what podcast I heard this on, and it's not been one person, but it said like the smartest question I ever figured out how to ask was when I'm talking to a mentor, somebody smarter than me that I want to learn from, was what didn't I ask you that I should have? Or what don't I know that I should have asked you?
Ooh, I
And if
like
you
that
can
one.
ask somebody that, like there are people out there that see things that have done things that you all don't even know are out there yet. And that's what the best business owners, the highest performers are out there looking for. Like, what don't I know what's coming, right? I know I have people and there are resources for stuff. If I have a problem, somebody's figured out how to solve it. So there's resources. The scariest part is what don't you know is coming that's going to catch you by surprise, that you have to all of a sudden scramble to get fixed. That's what a mentor or coach does a lot of times, and more so even a peer group. So people being around peers, right? It's like in our mastermind program, the biggest benefit of that isn't the coach in that necessarily. Like the coach is great. Like you're coaching it. We've got other coaches that are in there, but what are they really? They're trying to learn from each other, right? That's the power that group is made from their peers because they have a coach. So, I've been in a group where the peers were the biggest benefit. So, you're trying to figure out what's next that you don't know about just yet. Then you're attending events, whether it's online events or in-person events, things like that. You're getting there because you get around other people. You get to escape your business. Like, even if you're reading, I'm reading in my office, I got to go to work. If I take a course, I'm taking a course going right back to work. Getting out and going to events, getting around your peers, getting around those mentors potentially, that there's a lot of benefits to that. I know when I started going to a lot of events that I could see my performance increase. And then when I stopped, I could see it kind of plateau out. So you've got to get around those things. You always have to be looking for, how do I make myself better? And as you get more and more experience with it, it's a lot less like, how many things can I learn? It might be, like when I go to an event, I might be looking for 1 to 3 things that I can take away that are really going to move the needle. I'm not trying to take everything I learned and go back and apply it. I want to really pick out the 1 to 3 things that are going to make the biggest impact for me personally, professionally, whatever. So you start to figure that stuff out. I might read a whole book and get 1 sentence, but that 1 sentence could mean the difference between, rapid success or me struggling to figure something out.
I like it, man. I like it. And, I keep going back to that core value, and that always stands out to me. There's a reason it's our number 1 core value. It says relentless pursuit of growth and knowledge, right? Not just, hey, I'm not going to haphazardly go out there and, if I come across a book I like, great. Or, that looks like a great, event. I'm seeking that. I'm being intentional about it, and I'm going to be relentless in making myself better. And once you get better, you help, you make everybody around you better. So I love that, man.
One other thing with that, I think, understand the difference between learning and absorbing information. Like, people consume a lot of information, right? And that's the thing with people, like, you don't have to read 100 books. Learning is different. Like, learning means you understand the concepts and you can apply it. So those 2 things have to go together. And like, you don't have to just, don't say I'm learning, and meaning like I did a Google search on the internet and read some articles, or like I clicked on a lot of links through my Facebook feed and learning. I know I can get sucked into that thing. I did some learning today. But it's really about like, do I understand it? Can I absorb it? Like, it doesn't happen through a lot of just like reading online articles or things like that. And I say that, and like I write a ton of blog posts hoping people learn from it. But that can't be the only thing that you're doing. Because a lot of times you're just skimming that stuff, right? Like, we put out a ton of content, I think, and we open the doors. Like, we have a ton of great free stuff out there. But you've got to really be absorbed into it and apply it. You can't just skim it and be like, I learned something today.
Awesome, man. Like, now that moves us perfectly into our last tip, and you talked about applying it, right? So the last tip that you had was you have to prioritize like a pro. So what does that mean, like a pro?
So the highest performers, like the people I consider like a pro at this, is, they're the ones that don't let things distract them. Like, they understand their priorities. And I didn't say time manage or anything like that. That's really what it's about. You've got to know your priorities, and you've got to stick to them. You've got to create a schedule, create some structure for yourself. So prioritization like a pro means that you align your actions today with your longer term vision. Like, the things I do today are going to move me 1 step closer or a step further away from my long term vision, from my goals. So, you start with that. Where do I want to go? And we break it back down and say, all right, like 3 to 5 years, where do I want to be? Then we come back down and we do, all right, well, at the end of this year, where do I need to be on pace for that? Like, what are my 2 to 4 objectives I need to accomplish? All right, well, a year is too far for most people to think. So it's just like a weight loss goal or a training goal, right? I'm going to break it back down. I'm going to do a quarter. Say, well, what are my 2 to 4, we call them rocks. Like, what are your 2 or 4 rocks or objectives for this quarter that I'm going to get done? Now, every day, if I get lost, and I have it right here, and it's a little messy, but we keep a priority tracker. This has all my notes, all my stuff that I would need to keep myself organized in. It has my rocks in there. I keep tabs on them all the time. Anytime I get a little lost or I'm like, I don't know what to do next, I take a step back, I take a deep breath, and I say, all right, what are my quarterly objectives? What are my rocks? Okay, am I on pace to hit those or not? What do I need to do today to move 1 step closer to those things? Or what are my goals? Like, what do we need to hit sales-wise for this quarter? Am I on pace? Am I doing something to move me closer to that? All of a sudden, it clears everything up. The distractions go away, and I know I need to move on this, this, and this. So like some things for my day, like that's how I prioritize. Like people say prioritization all the time, but how do you know what's your number one priority? Well, if you go through these quarterly planning stages where you set your quarterly priorities, you know that's my priority. Now you break it down into the steps, and all I have to do is look at that, and then every day, every week I keep track of a planner. In that planner, I've got stuff I'm keeping tabs on, keeping track of. But then every day, I purposefully only give myself, like we create our own planner, but I create only 5 things that I have on my planner for each day. There's a reason, because I don't want to do more than 5. Not that I don't want to, but I typically can't get to more than 5 priorities in a day. If I have a list of 10, it seems like I'll never get to everything, right? I've never hit a list of 10 and been done in a day. So I look at my schedule in the morning, say, what do I have that's already pre-scheduled? Phone calls, meetings, things like that. Then I look at what are my most important things that I have to get done? Like what's waiting on me right now? What do I have to get done? What are my deadlines looming? Then I plan that out. What action steps do I need to take today? I mean, today, I just like tell everybody like how I prioritize. I've got some rocks for marketing that we have to hit. I've got rocks for one of our programs. Today, I had figured out a compensation plan for a program. I had a couple of reviews to do today. I had to work on our sales curriculum. And I had to work on our big event, like EFPS. I had to do some work for that, right, to keep it moving. Those were all I listed on my agenda today. So when we're done with this call, I've already hit all those things. Like I can actually wrap up when we're done and be 100% happy with where I'm at today. But if I'd have listed 15 things, like I'd still think at the end of this call, I need to work for 5 more hours. So that's how you prioritize. But it all starts with your vision and like breaking it back down so that you have something to refocus when you get a little lost.
Good, man. That's awesome, man. I love that, just that prioritization. It's like that, how do you eat an elephant type thing, being able to break it down into small pieces, man, one bite at a time. And I think so many people, especially entrepreneurs, they want to get there. They want to get whatever there is, that vision. They want to get there as fast as possible. And they don't really know how. And maybe they don't want to. I won't say they don't want to. They might just don't know how to break it down. And that's what we do with those, 2 to 4 objectives. And I always like to tell our coaching clients and even our prospects where our biggest, value is helping you determine what that long-term vision is, setting an annual goal and then reverse engineering it and break it down into those small quarterly rocks. So prioritization is the key, man.
Well, that's a productivity machine. That's what I think everybody wants to be like, I can't manage my time. Like if you want to be like a good time manager, figure out how to prioritize. That'll make you more productive. Like it all works together.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Well, that covers number 7 of the 7 tips, man. And every one of those were just high quality. So I'm going to post a blog link on this feed after we get off for people to go check out that blog post if they haven't. But I want to wrap up and kind of let you just chime in with what your action plan would be. What should somebody do after listening to this Facebook Live session?
So any of these 7 tips could transform your business, right? All 7 together make you like a rock star. But it can be overwhelming to work on all 7 at a time, right? So you have to be prioritizing. The thing that I'd say is like pick the 1 or 2 that you can focus on right now. So there's 2 ways to approach it. You can either pick the easiest one to implement right away. So when you do that, that gives you momentum, right? So like say I'm going to pick, whatever, the sales thing. I can go take the sales course and I can work on that right now. That might be the easiest thing for somebody to do. So if they do that, then they pick up momentum, right? And my momentum will carry itself and they'll do more and more. Then the harder ones aren't so tough. The other option is you tackle the one that's going to give you the biggest return on investment right now. And so like, what's the most important one? And that might or might not be the easiest one. And that might require a lot more work and put that into play. So it'll be a little longer maybe before you can get to some of these others. So don't feel like, man, I've got to change all these things at once. If you're just not good at all of them, like that's not the purpose. It's here's 7 potential options to help you get better. Like they're not going anywhere, and most of these won't change for quite a while. So pick one, knock it out of the park, and then pick up the next one when you're ready. Give yourself some momentum that way. Don't get overwhelmed because then people just fall off because they can't keep track of all these things.
Awesome, man. That's some solid advice. And, I think just in general, this call and these 7 tips that we went over, man, they if somebody actually goes through them one by one and start to take action on those and implement them, it truly can be a game changer. So I want to go ahead and just wrap it up right now. It is Friday afternoon and some people want to get an early start on their weekends, and we want to respect that. So there's one thing I do want to offer to everybody that is listening to this live, watching us live, and even people that watch the recording and watch the playback. We elaborated a lot on the 7 tips that we talked about, right? So those 7 tips were: take great care of yourself, create a dashboard, improve your marketing, shore up your sales, focus on that one thing, that core offer, never stop learning, and prioritize like a pro. I know there's business owners out there that are just getting started or maybe thinking about getting started and open up their own facility and training business. And there's ones that are very seasoned business owners, but they still have questions. So I want to open it up for us to offer a free coaching call. So I'm gonna place a link here in the comments for people to kind of click on that link and go register for a free coaching call for myself. So take advantage of that if you're watching this. It's a 60-minute coaching call, and these things are awesome. I mean, like Ryan said, if you go to an event, you have a mentor, you set up a coaching call, and if you can walk away with one nugget that's going to significantly impact your business, it was well worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And let's go ahead and wrap it up. Ryan, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, take advantage of that coaching call. I mean, it's those things can change the game. You'll see how we go through some coaching on there. And it's definitely not one of those things that's like masked as a sales call. Like if it's a good opportunity for someone, we want them to take part in the coaching program, right? Like that's what we do. But a great way to experience that is to go through these coaching call process, and it's going to be like dig into your business. We're going to try to find a way to show you how to improve. That's what we do. So take advantage of that. Join us for more Facebook Lives. I could go on and on with stuff that they should do, but put the one tip to use that was the biggest impact for you today, and then get on the phone and let us help you work through it.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, Ryan, man, it's been a pleasure. We went a little over an hour today. I want to try to keep it under an hour, but I know, being you're talkers, man, we could talk for days. So
I didn't even know it was an hour, so we could probably go all afternoon. We can do that's what we can do one day. We'll just block off a whole Friday and we'll do an all day webinar recording on coaching people.
I know, right, man. We definitely got to do that. I know we are going to be a lot more frequent on these. I think we're really well. And if you guys have any other items that you want to hear, or you want us to talk about or elaborate on, put those in the comments. We can talk about them if you schedule a coaching call as well, but we're going to try to schedule these on a weekly basis. Ryan, man, it's been a pleasure. Everybody that joined us, it's been a pleasure, and we appreciate you guys, and everybody go enjoy their afternoon.
Thank you, Vaughn, and thank you for everybody that joined us, and hopefully everybody has a good weekend.
All right, man.